In Luke chapter 16, Jesus tells the story of a rich man who lived very selfishly. He feasted and lived lavishly. He was likely a glutton, and he never would spare anything to help out those who were less fortunate. And Lazarus, a crippled beggar who was covered in sores, would often beg from the rich man, asking for even a crumb. But the rich man, of course, ignored his requests. And so, eventually, the time came when Lazarus died. And even though he lived on earth in poverty, overlooked by many, when he died, he was escorted by angels to a place of peace, where Father Abraham was. Now, when the rich man died, even though he was basically a celebrity in life, after death, he wasn't worthy to be escorted by angels. No, he found himself in Hades. What is Hades? Hades is one of many Greek words that we often translate into the English word hell. And some scholars note that it isn't a reference to the lake of fire or Gehenna, which happens after the final judgment. No, this is referring to another state. And also, I must say, some do argue that this story may not describe exactly how it literally will be after you die. But others also make the point that when you look at all of Jesus' stories and even his parables, he always described realistic, probable situations. And so whether or not this story actually happened, we can still be certain that there is a lot Jesus is trying to communicate here from it. And one of those things is that when Lazarus died, a humble man who was in favor with God, he was rewarded. And he went to the same place as Abraham. But this rich man who lived sinfully, he didn't get away with his selfishness. No, he found himself in torment. And in the story, it says that he looked up and he could see Lazarus, that beggar who he mistreated, in peace. Wow. Basically, he could see someone he wronged in life being in comfort while he was in agony. Wow. Imagine that. Imagine being in hell and being able to see those you wronged in life being comforted. That's how Jesus described it. And so the rich man sees Lazarus with Abraham, and he cries and says, "Father Abraham, have pity on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire." But Abraham replied, "Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony." Wow. And so one thing we learn here is that after death, he was able to remember his wrongdoings, and he was in fire. And also, he wanted water to cool his tongue. And so he had thirst. Now get this. This is very interesting, because his body is dead, but of course he is in spirit form in Hades, but yet he still has bodily cravings as a spirit. And so some suggest that part of the agony of hell is that many of those bodily cravings will still be carried over into the spirit realm. The cravings will still be there, but will go unsatisfied. And so when you consider that, anyone who is craving something like lust, well, you might as well not give into it now, because if you went to hell, the craving would still be there. But you wouldn't be able to give into it. And so it's kind of like this. It's like you might as well get used to not giving into it now in this short fragment of time. And of course, thankfully, we who are on God's side in the body of Christ, we have the promise that one day we will be resurrected in a holy, immortal body. And won't have the same bodily urges and struggles that the current flesh ones have. And so it's almost like this. You can look at it like this. When you repent from sin in life, you can experience an afterlife without the cravings. But when you indulge in sin in life, you end up experiencing an afterlife with the cravings, but they go unsatisfied. Do you see? And this is one reason why evil spirits always want to possess people. And they try to get them to do all manner of wicked, devious behavior. Why? Because the evil spirits still crave it. But they're unsatisfied, so they try to get in your body and make you fulfill their lusts. It's really deep, and we could really go into all that, but to keep things short, we can clearly see from the story here the consequences of indulging in ungodly behavior. And as you read the story further, it mentions that this rich man was able to see his family, and he was pleading, hoping someone would just share the truth with them, because he didn't want them to join him in his agony. Man, hell is real. And we all have a lot of work to do to share the truth with this world. And so Jesus, who knew the seriousness of this and the wrath of God, he spoke about it.